but the ripple effect afterward is like, oh my
Right.
God, I couldn't calm down for.
I believe in the book you wrote, A Life in Parts, you were talking, or at some point you were talking about the scene with Jane in Breaking Bad and how that was the one that kind of hit you and resonated with you the most. And I feel like a lot of the viewers, I know myself, maybe the ATM head, that one sticks out.
Yeah.
But that scene with Jane where she's choking and you're, back and forth, that was the one that, sticks with you the most from that series?
Yeah, that was the most emotionally surprising and dangerous scene for me because it was so interesting. As I prepare for a scene, I always get out a yellow legal pad and I just write down stream of consciousness thoughts about where I could go. What are the possible avenues emotionally that could happen? And it came up to that scene. It was like, well, I should write a pro and con list of why I should save her, why I should let her die. And on that, why I should let her die? Well, she got Jesse hooked on heroin, and she's going to report my enterprise, and I'll go to jail. And then why should I save her? Well, she's young enough; she could be my daughter. I wrote down, and I'm writing all these things down, and then you forget about it, and you just go do the scene. Well. But I planted that seed in my head. She could be my daughter. And sure enough, in one point, Kristen Ritter was, such a great actress, and she was giving it her all off screen. The camera was on me. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling the emotion of this situation. And in pops that thought. And my own real daughter's face replaced Kristen Ritter's for about 2 seconds. I saw my own daughter choking to death. And that's you see me go
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
that was real, right?
And just as soon as that came, it went. But the ripple effect afterward is like, oh my
Right.
God, I couldn't calm down for. I went over. I told Anna Gunn what happened, and she's oh my God, and she hugged me, and I cried.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly.
Oh yeah,
No
yeah.
joke.
It was a serious thing.
So what do you do to come down or come back to you after something like that?
Serious drugs. Serious drugs. Well, you know what it is. I tell people it's like it's sometimes physically demanding. It is emotionally demanding, almost always, and you just have to take that risk. But what I do when I was leaving, especially say Breaking Bad, but I make it a habit for 25 years now, is I will go in the makeup and hair trailer, and I finish a rough day on Breaking Bad where, Walter White was doing some pretty nasty things, and you're out in the desert and there's sand and there's grit on you. I would go in there, I'd take a hot, moist towel, and I would wrap it on my bald head like it was a turban. And then I'd take another one and I'd wrap it around my face like I was getting a professional shave. And I would just sit there and allow the heat and moisture to draw out that impurities. And I would just get kind of sleepy, and I'd wipe my whole head and face of that, take off those clothes, put on my clothes, and I left Walter White at the studio. I never took him home with me.
Listen, if you made it this far into the video,
Which is far. Like, no one ever does that on the internet.
like it's the end. You made it to the end of the video.
full fucking video
You
you
watched
did.
the whole thing. So if you liked it and you watched the whole thing, why don't you subscribe?
It means you like us.
Click the subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm going to fucking murder John.
And I'm going to like it.
Kill him with my bare fucking hands.
Yeah.
And if you weren't sold on this video, there's plenty more. Watch what's next up and then subscribe. But just subscribe so I don't have to fucking kill him.
Well, I don't know. Do what you want, but subscribe. Probably.